Well, welcome back to the Homeless Surfer channel. Good to have you here in San Diego with me. It looks like another perfect day. I love LA. No, I love San Diego more. But we love the weather. It's not a bad thing. As you can see behind me, the city sits beautiful as always. Not able to see the street right below me, which is the other side of San Diego. But anyway, things have been going well. I'm so glad that you come and join me today. Let's start with that business stuff, they do here on the YouTube stuff that we do. We got to subscribe, like, and notify. Please, I want to build this audience, so let's do it. I love all the people that have been watching. Please subscribe. I really need that from you. Like I said, I got to climb to 50 so I can go on to a live TV show, and that's what I want to do is turn this live. I think it'd be so much cooler to be able to talk to you rather than just talk at you. But yeah, so please remember to do that. It really matters. We're building this community very strong. I was watching Mr. Beast the other day, just kind of I've been tracking through his career. Consistency is everything. There's no real tricks to this. It's not. It's like any other thing you've seen as time has passed. And what I mean by that is my mom and dad my mom was really into having us model and do acting and stuff as kids because we were close to LA and she didn't have nothing to do. She was a stay-home mom. So she'd just drive us up there to do tryouts and stuff. So that was great. I never really caught on. I was too ADD and stuff. But what I recall and what was strange that I think back now is all the guys that I was going to or meeting at these tryouts and stuff or these auditions, they ended up being stars. Like Keanu Reeves was in the mix, Charlie Sheen was in that mix, Kiefer Sutherland was one of the dudes, Nicolas Cage was one of the dudes. They were all young. They had connections already, but they still had to go through the process of doing the tryouts back then. We were all only like 8, 9, 10 years old. So through their consistency of continuing to go and do that, what I can say now at 61, they didn't do anything special other than just didn't quit. They just kept going and going and going. And then finally, if people see you long enough, they start to feel familiar with you anyway. So that's why I make these every day too, is I want to grow the audience. I want to create familiarity with us. And I really want to get to a point where we're able to talk to each other. So that's the goal, of course. And that's kind of developing and blossoming. Like I say, strange thing watching Mr. Beast is he laid out his corporation, the way he set it up, which is attention. It's attention, then product services, and then create your own products. So, and through that, he's been able to build one heck of an operation. And I want to do the same thing because one thing I know about me is I'm so at peace as far as I don't need things to feel it all at all. I don't. And the reason I can say that, and not because, oh, you're homeless, you don't have shit. No, I pretty much just walked away from it. It didn't do it for me. As much as I thought it would, it just didn't do it for me. Having material things was just a complication in life. And not even knowing it, you know what I mean? We're Americans, we're raised to be consumers. And having nice things is very important to us. But unfortunately, I think the way the advertising, the way the things are presented to us, they're presented to us as what's going to make us happy. And they're lying to us by that. You can't get happy having stuff. It's like in Bruce Almighty when Jennifer Aniston catches him cheating and he's trying to beg for her and she says, no, Bruce, just get me a boat. I just want a boat. Nothing more, And I can relate to that because it's just a material crap. You really don't need more than you can handle. There's nothing wrong with stuff. I love nice stuff. I love Porsches, Polos, and nice fancy houses. But the bottom line is, if pursuing that is making me an unhappy person, I really shouldn't be making those pursuits because I'm going to end up miserable with a lot of stuff. And like I said, for me, it was just a case of like, for instance, if I go buy a car tomorrow, I don't have any of these worries, right? Insurance costs, car payments, people running into me, people stealing my car, people damaging my car, the price of gasoline. None of that matters to me. So I don't sit and watch TV or the news and say, oh my God, gas is going to $7. Sucks to be you, man. I'll take the public transit. Thank you. I'm happy with that. It gets me where I need to go. And lucky for me, I'm basically a homebody. I like to stay home, and my home is here in at the beach in San Diego. I can't be anywhere else. I'd prefer to be sitting in PV, but right now I'm still gingerfied from it. So hopefully those book sales that I started this on, basically, once those take off, I'm hoping they're going to provide me a good living. And this is designed to be kind of just an advertisement to those good books that I make. And I'm making them fast, but because the stuff's in my head. And they're and get understand this, they're not real religious in nature. There's no I don't put even though I have Jay and Greg pass through the Bible, that's a whole separate thing. It gives Bible teachings to children, the simple ones, like don't lie, respect your parents, things of that nature. And it's Jay and Gray going through with children in the Bible who are there at the same time that Jesus is preaching, and Noah's doing his thing, and they're cruising through that, and they're meeting the kids of that period of time. So that's what's cool about it. So as they meet these kids, they learn about what happened during that time in history, biblically speaking, but it's more historical nature than it is a religion or anything like that. I want it to be spiritual and knowledgeable, because bottom line is all the various forms of writing, tablets, everything that's ever been compiled. And the beauty thing is now in this day and age, we've really uncovered a lot of stuff. Back when the Bible was uncovered, that was it. You had that book and that was that. So now we've got tablets, and the emerald tablets are out, and they've got what's the other one called? There's another Bible. I want to say the Ethiopian Bible or something, but yeah, a bunch of this stuff is being uncovered for the benefit of man, so us to realize that that we come from somewhere, and that the whole story has been told from the beginning of time. As we said before, everybody wants to be noticed. Everybody wants to leave behind something that says I was here. And the people from the beginning of time have been doing that. And we're just starting to uncover all that. It's really sweet, because all it does is just really solidify the fact that we are higher beings. We were created by somebody, and there's more than just this. We're running through eternity, and this is one of the facets of it. It's pretty cool, because it's confirmed over and over and over from different all over the world, where they find different writings. I mean, if you're Mormon, I raised Mormon. We had the Book of Mormon. Never really thought it was much, but you know what it was? It was just another documentation of what these people were going through, and kind of what with their higher powers or their spirituality, what they were seeking, and also the traditions of their fathers being passed down to them in writing, so that they didn't have to count on the oral traditions that we used to, because that's how a lot of the bastardization of all this happened, is oral tradition. Same with preachers. Preachers are oral tradition. You need to read. You need to read and contemplate, and we need to find our own center within ourselves, because no matter what you do, if Tai Chi is your thing, do that, because then you get a little physical improvement as well as spiritual improvement. You center. You can do meditation, you can pray. Any of those items are the same basic result, which is centering your being. And you got to start there, because once you're centered, things can't knock you off balance so well. And that's what you want to stop from happening, is getting knocked off balance. Because like I said, with the car example, I don't have to worry about that shit, because I choose not to. Now, if you choose to do it, that's fine, but don't let that destroy you. Let that, if you really should afford the car, don't get it, because all it's going to do is create stress. And for me, even worse than that was, I could afford it, I could have it, but then I got to clean it all the time, and I got to fix it all the time. And man, nothing worse than a car problem, Yeah, I'm so happy to be free of that. Now I take buses and public transportation, so it's not quite as quick as it was when I had a car, or quite as convenient, but the bus system's so solid, and the trolley system is so solid in my town and in most places I've ever visited, that you really can get around on it. Specifically, not specifically, just no matter what. The hard part was the one time I couldn't actually use public transportation was when I was building pools. I had to go to the sites, and there's not public transportation taking you out to these places. So I did have to get a car or a truck. And again, I hated car problems. Just, geez, it was one problem after another. It seemed like, and you're protecting it. You're worried about it. I was always worried someone was going to break in, because I had computers and shit in there for the job. But yeah, so that's how I find for myself, that's how I find peace, is not creating stress. You got to live. You got to do what it takes to live. I understand that. I'm not telling you just abandon everything. What I am telling you is take on what you can, get it centered and squared, and then take on some more. Take on some more. It's just like building a pyramid of any kind. You got to have your foundation, and your foundation is your spirituality, the basis of who the hell am I. Don't say hey, you can be an atheist and have spirituality and understand there's beauty in the world. Sit in a quiet place like La Jolla Cliffs where I live and watch the sunset and watch the green flash. It's insane. And the green flash is real. It's cool as hell too. I've seen it over and over again. It doesn't happen on every sunset, but if the lighting and everything's perfect in the right time of year, you get the green flash at sunset. It's really bitching. It's just like a flash of green that goes right between the water and the last little bit top edge of the sun as it disappears beyond the horizon. Love that stuff. Go out and when I'm saying that about spirituality for myself, it's not a whole day thing. I think about it a lot, but it's for my zen, for my peace. I take 5 minutes a day, and that's all it takes. Just center, get in the center. Find your center, then nothing can upset you. You don't want to be upset. Nobody wants to be upset. I see a lot of kids online yelling and screaming and shit, but I think they're just trying to get that shit out. Because there is screaming therapy where you actually, and it does work, man. Where you actually just go out somewhere and you just top of your lungs scream it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. Because you're not bad, you're not ugly, you're not anything but beautiful, perfect person, and that's what you got to remember every day. You're incredible just the way you are. Don't worry about what a magazine says you're supposed to be, or the TV says you're supposed to be, or the movie stars say you're supposed to be. Who gives a shit about them? Man, I pay to go see them. Politicians can't tell me how to be because they've worked for me. I'll tell them how to be. We need to be more apt at that, telling them what we want. Not what I don't care what you want to do. Anyway, so I don't want to get off on that tangent. But if we put our focus in the wrong place, the wrong things happen. We have to focus on ourselves first. Get that foundation. Get that peaceful foundation that is within you to build upon. And then the things you can start to do are amazing. And I had it, like I said, I had a kickstart, man. That coma knocked the shit out of me. It made me once I came out of it, I wanted to live. And I appreciated the living. Maybe that was it, man. When you die, you appreciate the living side a lot more. Which I'm sure has a lot to do with my attitude change. Could be some brain cells got popped along the way as I was having a heart attack and not having air. Don't know, but I do. I do know, and you do too, because I share it with you. And I think falsehoods and all that kind of crap is very easy to identify. We have in ourselves a naturally innate ability to identify danger. We know when something's not right. Nobody can tell me, especially if you're up in our demographic here, that you don't know when shit's going to go wrong just by seeing what's happening around you. It happens the same way all the time. Down here on the streets, starts yelling. The yelling starts. Okay, depends on how much yelling goes on and how hard and what they're saying. The words of their yelling is on the street down here is a big deal. The way you say it is going to be received one way or another. And you can say bitch, but that's a word down here you don't say, man. You don't call a man a bitch. There's going to be now we got to fight. It's called a green light. You got a green light, you got to fight because man just called you a bitch. That's the one thing you can't do. I can call you a motherfucker, piece of shit, asshole, anything you want, but not that. That's fighting words. And so when you hear that, you see kind of how it, but you don't want to be too close or too around, man. Don't get caught up in that mess. And don't get caught up in in anyone else's messes. You can't. It doesn't do any good. What do you do? Stand between them and get hit yourself? One of them might have a gun or a knife. You end up dead. Yeah, you don't mess with that stuff, man. Let your fellow humans be them and you be you. And you watch out for your safety and you watch out for your best interest. Because until you do, there's a Hebrew parable about something about a man who doesn't bake bread can't give bread away. Something like that. Like, if you don't have it, you can't give it. So you're trying to give people, and I got friends that are this way, especially from the homeless people. A lot of these people that work as advocates, they're just trying to escape their problems. And so they take on our problems. But, and God bless them. I love those girls, man, what they've done. Those women, I shouldn't say girls or women. but they're amazing, and they really have made a difference in a lot of people's lives. But at the same time, I've noticed their lives are in turmoil typically because they're just running around fire to fire to fire to try to help different homeless people at different times. And like I said, God bless them, but they're missing their inner peace because if they could come out here with their selves in Zen, you sure can be a lot more helpful because you listen more. I'm finding I listen twice as much now as I ever spoke. You wouldn't know it by listening to me on this, but when I'm standing around people, I like to listen because I learn so much by listening to what other people have been through. Their experiences in life really make me comfortable. But like I said, there's people like monks who have nothing, but they find their zen, and I'm guarantee you this is the weird thing, and maybe that's what I'm sorry, I should go and say that. Once you find your zen, material items don't matter because you understand they're just temporary. Everything that we pursue, for the most part, is stuff. I want a new car. I want this. I want that. And even going to work, we go to work just to pay the rent sometimes, just to have a roof over our head. Man didn't used to do that. Thousands of years, a man wasn't designed like that. They've taught us. They've molded us and manipulated us into being their servants. We work hard. We pay a shitload of taxes, and they just take it, put the money in their stuff. So I don't have a lot of love loss for our the people that are handling our money right now. So I did write some stuff down. I decided to, but that's what I wanted to go over real quick too. My demographic: warning, warning, warning. AI and the internet and all this stuff is really bitching, but watch what you're doing with it because everyone promises it's the same shit, dude. Like I said, I'm from advertising and marketing. That's my primary career that I did for my education. So I know they're manipulating. That's already done. They've been doing that for years. We do study groups and all kinds of stuff back in our day. We did the Nielsen ratings. That was when we were first starting to gather television data. Was the Nielsen ratings. So that's real. They program us. And now with the data, with the digital data that we have going, and the ongoing social media interaction, we're nonstop being tracked. They know everything, and they know how to manipulate. Like I told you, I talked on this thing, which goes on my YouTube channel, but somehow the YouTube channel picked up on things I need from this. And then all of a sudden my advertising changes on my channel, on my TV where I'm just watching the YouTubes and watching everybody else's channel. So all of a sudden I'm getting, like, because I write books and we know that I'm doing the author thing, I get so many advertisements about companies that want me to send them $2,500 to promote and publish my book. Like, no, again, that's a hustle, dude. If somebody wants money from you before they provide any kind of service to you, no, that ain't possible. The other thing to watch for too is the free trial shit. Nah, that's sketchy. If you want to pay for it, go on and pay for it. But they typically will say, "Oh, free trial," right? So you go on there, you start building shit. Well, in 30 days, you kind of like it, but you're not quite financially ready for it, and that's been one of my biggest problems. They freaking they give you the free stuff, but then if you go to download it, they don't allow that. It's same thing with like Microsoft 360. Oh, they'll give you the free Microsoft Word, but it's fucking absolutely useless because you can't edit, you can't do anything with it. You just paste something on it. So you got the cut and paste thing going, and that's it. Seriously, unless you pay the $9 a month. I get that. So that's fair, but you get your services. AI, same thing. Watch what you do with AI. Don't keep signing up for every damn AI. First get on with one and get comfortable with it. Start figuring out how the screen works, where this is and where that is. Because trust me, there's so much going on there. It takes a minute, especially, I don't know. Like, I'm probably the dumbest. I'm not probably. I am the dumbest computer guy that ever lived. Just don't know computers. So to me, I'm having to learn computers and AI at the same time. Luckily, AI helps me learn the computer pretty well. So that's really worked out for me. But yeah, so be careful of the hustles because I know, it's like back in the days where they say send $5.99 to this place and we'll send you the ability to do mailers and make $500 a week or whatever. and you'd send them in the $5 and they send you a letter that says, okay, go to your post. And it basically just be a one page instruction on how to do it, which is as simple as it could be. It was a product, but they didn't tell you that's what you're going to get. You're thinking you're getting envelopes and stamps, and they're hooking us up in business because it helps them. No, they were just that was their business. And anybody that's on YouTube telling you I'm $1 million guy, this and that, that right there turns me off. I don't care about your net worth. If you're successful on on the channel, we'll know. We'll see each other eventually. So I know who's good on these channels and who's not. And the funny thing is, people that are real YouTubers, the real guys, they're not asking for anything. They don't ask you. They ask you to subscribe, because if you subscribe, they get that number, and I need that number. That's what subscription is. And I hope I just sell the books enough to not even worry about. But I love the YouTube channel thing. I'm just into it now. I'm starting up other channels, because there's going to be 3. This one's going to stay like it is. I'm going to have another channel that's just going to be for Konos at coffee at Konos. And then I'm going to have a third channel for the kids, so that I can take the books and read the stories to the kids. I'm going to do all that. The kids channel is going to be AI. So that thing will run automatically by itself through the AI system, agent system I'm created or started to create. Like I said, I got to read everything, and it takes flip. Trust me, some of these instructions, if it was a book, would be like 200 pages at least. And that's just your instructions on kind of just until you get in there and start messing around with it. It's like everything else. You don't read the instructions until you can't figure it out. And yeah, but I would recommend that in this case, because a lot of it you figure out just messing around with it. And that's how I'm getting more and more comfortable. It's like, man, I used to think I can't take these books and move this book over to this file and make a file that's going to work. Yeah, you can. It was pretty easy, actually. But all that, see, there's a great example of what I was talking about earlier, is you stress yourself out for no need. Center, breath. Breath is huge. You got to breathe. Got to breathe. Before you speak, always breathe, because it's going to take the emotional edge off of what you're thinking or what you're saying. It's going to slow it down a little bit, just a little bit. We don't have to slow all the way down. We just have to calm down a little bit and just take a breath. That's it. My mom used to say that to me. How simple is that? Just take a breath. As I'd be getting upset. And it works. I can't believe I remembered something from my childhood, threw it into this, and started doing it to myself, and it works. That's shocking, huh? No, I'm kidding, because parents loved us, and they were trying to help us with what they knew already. And that's one of the frustrations of getting older. Kids don't freaking listen. We could really help them out. We could give them a real easy path, just bang it out. Here's what you do, and you'll be on easy street. Promise. Guarantee it. I've seen it. But they ain't gonna listen. You don't know shit. You're old. You're not up to date. I don't game. I'm not a gamer. I don't even know what that means, man. But then again, I never knew what a YouTuber was until 7 weeks ago. So, looking back at the business a little bit, though, the book sales are huge. So that was the original point of this, and I don't want to lose 100% of that. I do like chatting and getting kind of spiritual and talking about that stuff. Hopefully, I get some people that just go, "Fuck yeah, I'm motivated. I feel better today, man." If I got a couple of you that felt that way, I'm stoked. I'm doing the right thing, and that's important for you and for me both. Because I've been given this gift, and keeping it to myself would be a sin. It really would. It's the talent thing. You got this talent. You got to go out and do it. You got to show it. Because I'm watching all these YouTubers. I'm watching all these news guys now. I'm watching corporate news and shit. All these people are people that are willing to sit in front of a camera and speak. A lot of us aren't willing to do that. Lucky for me, I'm not afraid of that part. What I don't like, I can't publicly speak. I get freaking freaked out. I shake and my voice, I'm sweating. And yeah, I don't do public speaking well, man. This thing's cool. I can talk to it. I'm just like talking to you guys. And just looking at my shadow alone, I can see that, you're with me. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But with these books, I really need this audience to help me with that, to put the word out that, hey, the homeless server, the dude getting off the street, and he's using AI and a cell phone to do it. And hopefully that's a pretty bitchin' story in and of itself, even though it's mine. But people all my life have always said, Dusty, you got to write. And this is long ago. Started 30, 40 years ago when I first went to prison. They were like, damn, you got to write a book, dude. That's a hell of an experience. Shit, I lived way more than that since then and never, ever wrote none of it. But obviously people around me and people I didn't know that I just talked to would always indicate, yeah, you got to write that shit down, man. People would find these stories interesting. So we're giving it a shot, and I like it. And like I said, the only reason I started the YouTube thing was to sell the damn books because the Adventures of Jay and Gray, which are my grandsons, and Grandpa me, being the old wise guy in the book, maybe has the lines that, what did we learn today, children? Kind of like we had when we were kids with fractured fairy tales. Well, Mr. Wizard, Mr. Wizard. And the funny thing is, if you're my age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, you're like, what's this guy talking about? But that's cool. It's not for, yeah, every reference isn't going to hit for everybody. But I do have a lot of pop culture and historical shit up here, which is why I know we've been programmed, because I can remember ads from the 60s and 70s, songs from when I started hearing songs. I mean, back when they were just little kid songs, they're still in my head. They're in there. I wish I could just delete the space and have it freed up so I can put some new shit in there, because those things are useless. And that's what they programmed us with, is just useless shit to make us buy. And they count on it. They know damn well we're going to buy. They can go around the world and make tariffs for everybody, saying, hey, man, these people are going to buy. If you want their money, you're going to have to help us out. And hey, it's working, because the world's like, yeah, man, these American people, they buy the shit out of stuff. We got to get them more. Because we've been programmed to since the time we were kids. And I'm the first generation. We are the first generation that grew up with the television. The mass hypnotization of the world started heavily, for sure, in earnest, with a television set. And movies didn't help. They threw on illusions of what life could look like. But at least in the 30s and stuff, when they threw on those illusions, it wasn't like, they didn't make it like, this is just should be your world. You can live here. It was like, no, this is an illusion. It's fantasy. It's a movie. Now it's like, I want to live like that, because the movies tell you, oh yeah, you can live like that. Everybody can. You create craziness, and they've created craziness and stress. So that's, I'm never giving up my TV or my freaking phones and stuff. Ain't gonna do it. But just know you're being programmed, and act accordingly, or plan accordingly. I know there's certain things that are in my head that are absolutely not necessary. But I still, when I go buy a toothpaste or I buy soap, I buy a certain type. I've been programmed. And then also my experience has taught me that, after trying multitudes of products, this is the one that works best for me. So that's capitalism. I got to come up with a product that you guys want, or no one's going to buy it. So hopefully these books are something you want, because if you're over 40, you've probably got grandkids on the way, or in your life somewhere, that you can really help me out with that. Because I'm making them great. I'm making them fun. The Adventures of Jay and Gray are just Jay and Gray's life, living on the beach, doing their sports, talking and learning as they go. Simple lessons, like I said, sportsmanship for those guys. There's a whole slew of them. I got 100 of them already, all designated family traditions, Christmas time, Easter time, where just all the years and all the times and all the things that kids do. And I put it into a setting that I understand, which is growing up as a kid on the beach, and kind of what you see and what you do during the day, which is, when you really look at it, it's a pretty cool life, man. Where you're skateboarding, surfing, or inventing some crazy shit like how to jump off the cliffs. And I remember we were trying to build parachutes one time with sheets. Yeah, we were that kid. Didn't work. But we didn't kill ourselves either. We're smart enough to start small. Don't go to the 100-foot cliff and try there first. Let's try a little 5-footer and see if it works. It didn't work. So, excuse me. So those are the Jay and Gray adventures. And I'm making over hundreds of them. And I want to build sets. I'm going to build 5-book sets, I think. Or I might just build one book with like 5 stories or 2 stories, because the bottom line is the printing costs. You got to, at some point, you got to have enough pages in there, because bottom line is, per page cost isn't that bad. It's when they have to, it's the cover costs. So if you take 10 pages, a 10-page story, man, your costs get way up way too quick. Like, give you an example. Dr. Seuss has, with his printing, he runs his average text, or his average page count is 30. So he takes 30 pages to tell his story, and the cover, which is a hardcover, and it's got a high tech linen, a 70 pound. I'm learning all this stuff too. I don't know shit about printing. I was called the printer. I'm like, I don't know anything. You tell me. He goes, do you have the file? I go, I don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking foreign language to me. They're starting to get me through it and teach me about what I need, how I need to format the files, and how simple it really is for me to do this. Even easier than I thought it was. So, but again, the books, the Jay and Gray and Jay and Gray's Adventures Through the Bible is designed for two to 10. 2 to 8 is really technically the actual demographic that you fill out. So it's 2 to 8. It's made for grandkids. They're short, fun, inspirational stories with a lesson. And the Jay and Gray goes through the Bible. Heads up, there is a couple Bible verses in there that I put in just to show where the Bible is talking about this story that they're dealing with in their storyline. So there is that, but it's cool. Like I said, it's not made to be religious or philosophical on religion in any way. It's just little kids being kids, at that time, because it was just a neat idea I had, because I always had a little kids Bible when I was a kid, and it had a lot of giraffes and funny animals, and yeah, they taught you the stories, the Noah's Ark one and the Ten Commandments and all that, but they did it with fun animals and stuff, watching Jesus and things, where from the bird's eye view, if you want the actual birds. So I thought that'd be a good idea, and I did it. The other one is the Aurora B. Aurora B is my youngest granddaughter, my newest one. She's only a year now, but hers is going to be going through history, and she's going to be called from historical people. Will call Aurora G to come help, or Aurora B. Yeah, Aurora Boreal. Yeah, Aurora B. Because her real name's Aurora. That's my granddaughter's name. So that's why I chose that. So Aurora B will be called by Ben Franklin to come help hold the kite or whatever, help wind the string, kind of thing. And we'll be able to tell them historical stories of that nature with no slants, it's just a damn what happened. Ben Franklin was out flying a kite, and a lightning bolt hit the freaking kite, and he realized that electricity can travel through a string. Boom. That started a lot of things from there. And who's not to say that was a thing from God, right? Because who else would even know that, oh shit, I just got my fingers all burnt up and ow, that hurt? No, this dude said, oh wow, electricity. I mean, who would even think? So anyway, that's the plan, or the stories of Aurora Gray, or Adventures of Aurora Gray, or yeah, Aurora B. Sorry, Gray and J, Aurora B. Okay. And then we throw on the story time, which is going to be kind of me reading those in AI form, and it won't even be my actual physical form. I'm going to be a little bit older, a little wiser looking, and I'm going to be an animated cartoon, because that's going to be more interesting to the kids. And I got the software to do that. I remember last month I pulled it out of my budget, man. Like I said, I'm on a fixed income, right? I just did my budget. I got $592 to work with. After all the bills are paid, it leaves me $60. Now, I've already got the one, because I'm going to do the cartoons. So I've got the OpenAI one, or no, that's not OpenAI, that's OpenArt. Got OpenArt, and then I've got OpenAI. Those two I've already paid for, but I got, now I'm back to where I have to pay them again. So I'm on the subscriptions, but I've narrowed them down. And that's why I say, watch those subscriptions, man, because they're only 9 here, 5 here, but eventually they just go up through the roof. Like they said, I was doing some research on them, and they said the average person has like $400 in random subscriptions. It's like, what? You don't notice that? I would. That's all my money gone in random subscriptions. But and the worst thing I don't like about the freaking AI in the computer now is they saved my credit card without my permission. I put it on there one time, and it got saved forever. Now it comes up automatically whenever I go into anything. Yeah, it's there. It's kind of scary. So I don't keep enough money in that account to steal anything. So all I lose is my AI and my power, but but I ain't losing everything out of that thing. So anyway, what are we doing here? Yeah, we were talking about that, the Tai Chi, and that's all very important, man, to just find our peace. But with these books and stuff, these are helping me find my peace. And once I found my peace, I was then able to start doing these projects, and with modern technology, it's definitely doable. And like I said, I'm basically homeless. I could charge. The only thing I use this home for this is to charge, and I can go to the library and charge. So this doesn't get impacted by my homelessness in any way, shape, or form. And that's why I grabbed it, man. I looked at it and said, hey, I got to learn this shit. Besides, if I'm living back on the street, I think you'll find it very interesting to hang out with me. Whole different level down there, baby. But and it's definitely eye opening. It's enlightening when you start actually meeting these people and figure out, hey, these are all people um, with all different types of stories. There's not one. There's not one trail. There's similar breadcrumbs in a lot of cases. The drugs, the alcohol. That's a very similar breadcrumbs. Same as the mental illness. Same as the poverty, the working class poor. Because a lot of people have decided, and rightfully so, they would rather live in a car and have some money in their pocket than be what we call house broke. Yeah, great. I got an apartment that I can't. My utility bills are always behind. Monkey, please don't bark. God, oh, by the way, yeah, I noticed that the other day about the noise cancellation because I was saying about the lady yelling outside my window. And then I saw my video on YouTube. You can't hear it. So I don't know if you guys can even hear it, but there's big dogs barking down there at each other. So my dog's reacting. But anyway, yeah, noise cancellation. Isn't that nuts? That's one of those things like, wow. So anyway, how does it know which noise to cancel? But anyway, I digress. But after digressing, let's get back on point. And that is that this thing is really coming together. And I so thank you guys for it. Those books are coming out, and that's why I started this. It's also now growing into other channels. It's going to be bigger and stronger. Helping me, if somebody wants to jump on board, leave a comment or tell me or get a hold of me. I think if you go to my website or if you go to my page, my Gmail's on there, and so is my Buy a Cup of Coffee, where you can leave comments on there. So please do, and tell your friends, please. If you got a good following of what you're doing, or a good social network of what you're doing, please turn them on to me. Like I've said 100 times, this thing is so dynamic that if you guys just turn it on for 5 minutes when you got up in the morning, go take a shower. Well, before you start the shower, just throw my channel on, man. And when you get out, if you don't like my face or whatever, just cut it off. But those likes, those views, and the subscriptions really make a difference. And and also I do have a link coming out today on this next video. This video that you're watching, we'll have a link to cybersecurity. Jay and Grandpa teach cybersecurity. It's a free download. You just click on it, I guess, and then you just download it. So I'm putting that on the channel as well. It'll also be in the comment section or in the description and all that stuff. So you'll be able to download that free. It's designed for folks like us that are 40, 50 plus, maybe to teach our grandchildren general safety rules on the internet, what not to do, what to do. We got to start teaching. We have learned. My daughter's generation, my son's generation is lost on these screens, man. And I really think we as the elders, and I think they're seeing it too. Unless they're so addicted, like my son-in-law can't do anything, can't even get a job because he can't get off the damn game. So I think we've learned that lesson, and I really believe we're going to do a lot better job with our grandchildren at teaching them. Go out and play time. There's probably going to be ads. Go out and play, which is funny because my mom never once had to tell us to go outside. We were going, Mom, can we go out? Mom, can we go out? It's dark. It's dark. I don't care. There's lights. We never wanted to stay in the house because there was nothing to do in the house. We didn't have 1,000 TV channels. We had 3 channels, and in our house and most houses that I know of, other than Mom maybe watching a soap opera during the day, families only watched a few hours of TV after dinner. So the manipulation of our brains, they only had a couple hours at a time back then. Now it's 24/7, and look at what's happening. Look at the feeling in the world because these kids have just been undated, and they don't know the difference between right and good information and bad information. Because another thing that we did that was bad was we put our kids in daycare, man. We all did. Moms didn't stay home no more. We had to. Economically, it was impossible to. Mom didn't get to raise the kids, but unfortunately, we weren't paying enough attention to what our kids were into. And they were into shit that we didn't even understand. Social media, I didn't get that. My kid was way more mastered at that before I even knew it existed. So, those are things to look for. But anyway, I need the help with this building these books, and I hope you guys will support me as you have been with the channel. I'm going to continue to work with the channels. I'm going to get these things out. We're going to have the YouTube for Kids channel. We're going to have I'm going to have the other one, the live channel. As soon as you guys help me, see, I'm waiting. Now I'm waiting on you guys, and that really don't make me do that, because I'm a homeless dude trying to blast this thing off and show you guys, show the world, everybody, that we're not done. 6-year-old homeless guy isn't done. There's no fucking way that anybody else should be able to say that. Don't. I'm not giving you the excuse to say I'm quitting, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm old. No, you're not. You're just getting started. You just got to the best part, man. The best part of every game is always the second half. You know why? Because they did the adjustments at halftime. Well, guess what? Halftime's coming to an end. If you're 40 years old, you got to make your gameplay day adjustments to win the game. So go, man. Even if you lost up to there, go. Now you got the bullets, man. You got the bullets for the gun that you've been trained for the last half of the game. You know what they're going to do. You know, when you line up this way, they're going to do this. So use that knowledge to win the game. So anyway, I love you guys. Don't forget about my books. Don't forget to write, subscribe, all those good things that we talk about. I'm going to have to do like an extra thing just to do that, because I know it's important. And I don't think I take it seriously enough, because everybody else is like, please like, subscribe, and we love your comments. I do, and I do. So, peace.